There's been a lot of chatter lately surrounding the primary school that decided to cancel their Easter bonnet parade, scrapping the whole event entirely. Naturally, this decision has sparked a lot of outrage across the United Kingdom. I've already shared my thoughts on the issue, and I'll say it again, it's absolutely disgraceful. We should not be throwing away long-standing British traditions and values just to appease others who may not follow the Christian faith. I've always stood by the belief that if you're living in a Christian nation, you should at least respect the customs and heritage of that nation. No one is forcing anyone to believe in Christianity, but recognizing the culture it's built upon is simply about respect. Following that announcement from the head teacher, the media caught wind of it, and it quickly turned into a national story. Rightly so, people are fed up. UKIP even went as far as to organize a peaceful protest outside the school. They were calling it what it is, an absolute disgrace. And honestly, they have every right to stand up for what they believe in. One moment from that protest that really stood out was when Nick, the leader of UKIP, was confronted by a far-left activist, one of those ultra-woke types. You know the type. Within the first sentence, you already know exactly where the conversation is going. But credit to Nick, he stood his ground and handled the situation brilliantly. In today's video, we're going to watch that exchange and react to it together. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get into it. So it kicks off with this woke individual confronting Nick, questioning him about what exactly is shameful about being Christian. He goes on to defend the school's decision, claiming they haven't cancelled Easter at all, they're just not holding a church service. But Nick, as always, cuts right through the nonsense. He points out that a letter went viral, clearly stating that Easter was being cancelled in order to celebrate diversity. That's not speculation, that's what the school actually communicated. So for this guy to say otherwise, it just shows he either hasn't seen the letter or is willfully ignoring the facts. Then it gets even more intense. Nick brings up the census data, pointing out that Britain is, and always has been, a Christian nation. Despite some people trying to downplay it, we've got over 26 million Protestants and 4 million Catholics. Even if not all of them are practicing regularly, the cultural foundation of this country is undeniably Christian. The woke activist tries to rebut that, mentioning how less than 50% now identify as Christian, but Nick pushes back with actual numbers, and the contrast becomes clear. It doesn't stop there. The activist begins to conflate Islam with race, suggesting that opposing the Easter cancellation is somehow discriminatory. Nick rightly calls him out, pointing out that Islam is a religion, not a race, and conflating the two is misleading and just plain wrong. He even questions why the term Islamophobia is thrown around so carelessly when it's clearly been weaponized as far-left propaganda. It's a term designed to shut down conversation, not foster it. That's a major issue in our society today, terms being thrown around to silence legitimate discussion. At one point, Nick mentions how the head teacher, Stephanie Mander, explicitly said that Easter was being dropped due to diversity concerns. That's not a neutral position, it's a replacement. And to add insult to injury, the school decided to substitute Easter with Refugee Week. I mean, honestly, are we being serious here? You're removing a tradition that's been celebrated for generations and replacing it with a politically charged event. That's not education, that's indoctrination. It's pushing a particular worldview onto young minds while erasing the customs that many children, and their parents, value deeply. To be fair to Nick, he held his ground with class. He didn't lose his cool, didn't resort to personal attacks. He simply pointed out the facts and stood up for the values that so many of us feel are under threat. It's moments like these where we need people like him to speak up. Because if we continue down this path, erasing one tradition after another, what's going to be left? A cultureless, sanitized society where nothing means anything anymore. I always think back to my own time in primary school. No one made a huge deal out of Easter parades or hymns, we just did them. It was part of learning about the country we live in, understanding the traditions that shaped it. No one was harmed, no one was brainwashed, it was just part of growing up British. And sure, Maybe the singing in assemblies can be toned down if people feel strongly about it, but why eliminate an entire celebration? Why remove something so wholesome, so simple, like an Easter bonnet parade? What's even more troubling is that in this particular school, the decision to cancel Easter wasn't about students complaining. Most likely, only a small number of students there even follow another religion. The majority probably weren't even aware there was a problem until adults made it one. So who exactly are these changes meant to serve? It's certainly not the kids, and it's certainly not the parents who were upset enough to protest. It seems to serve only those with an ideological agenda, those who think they know better and want to force their beliefs on everyone else, whether we asked for it or not. Anyway, that's my take on the situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree that we're losing our traditions in the name of so-called diversity? Do you think we need to draw a line somewhere and say enough is enough? Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care and stay true to what makes us British.